Welcome to Jazz Time. JazzTime.com is an online store that buys, sells, trades authentic luxury watches. We make these videos so our customers can easily choose the best watch for themselves in the comfort of their own home. If you like this watch and would like to buy it, click on the link in the description below to buy it at JazzTime.com, which is why we make these videos. So let's start. Today I'm reviewing the Patek Philippe 24 reference 4910/10A-012 on a blue dial with diamonds and stainless steel case and bracelet. So let's start with the case. Let's start with the watch overall. This is the 24 line. Now the 24 line Patek looks very similar to another line, which if you ask me, it looks kind of like the Cartier tank. It has this squared shape, but then it has many differences, and it still has a life of its own. It does look like a tank. I want to say the tank came first, but there's nothing wrong with having a watch that has this rectangular shape to it. It doesn't mean that they necessarily copied it. It would be like saying if you had a circular watch, they all copied Vacheron or something, which is not true. You can make any shape you like, but I'm just saying in some ways it kind of looks like a tank, which is not a bad thing because the tank Cartier is an amazing watch. Okay, now Patek makes these 24 line. Interestingly, they make it in both automatic and quartz, but the automatic ones are all circular, whereas all the rectangular ones are quartz. Why they do that, I'm not entirely sure, but it does make for the watch to be much cheaper in price point, and it makes it thinner and smaller. Maybe that's why they had to make the automatic in the larger one and the quartz one in the smaller one. I'm not so sure, but that is my guess. Okay, so this is the square one, or sorry, not the square one, the rectangular one, as you can see, and since it's a rectangular one, it has a quartz movement. Okay, now let's take a look at the dimensions on this watch. The dimensions are 25 millimeters by 30 millimeters. That means from the going up and down 12 to 6, you have 30 millimeters, and left to right, I mean 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock, you have 25 millimeters. That's I would call this like a mid-size. It's not a small, it's not a large, so it's right there in the middle. Okay. And if you had to choose, it's a little bit on the smaller side. I wouldn't call it a small watch, but it's on the smaller side. Now the height of it, now when I turn it on its side, it's a 6.8 millimeters. Now that is really thin. And to give you some reference, an ultra thin by any other brand, for example, like Audemars Piguet or even Patek Philippe, is about 8 millimeters. That's thin. And this one's 6.8. So that's even thinner. And the reason is likely because it's using a quartz movement, which does not have a bunch of moving parts, and it's literally a battery and circuits, etc. So it's a lot thinner. And why it could be good to have the watch thinner is because it makes it a lot more wearable. It makes it lighter, and it slips under the cuff or your dress or whatever it is much easier. Okay. Now let's talk about the case. As I said, it's a stainless steel case, and interestingly, it has a solid case back. And let me turn this watch over. You cannot actually see the serial number on the back, so you might wonder why is that? You actually have to unscrew these 4 screws right here, take off the case back, and then the serial will be on the other side. Now, why they do it that way, I don't really know, but that's how they do it. So that's pretty interesting, right? Okay, and the reason why they use a solid case back as opposed to an open case back, which is what they have on the circular ones, is because it uses a battery on the other end, which is not that beautiful in comparison, at least to the automatic movement. The automatic movement is automatic, it's got gears and all this other fancy stuff and looks beautiful. Whereas actually, the movement on the quartz one doesn't look bad. It's just that the battery itself doesn't look that great. It's just like a circle, and it could literally be a Duracell or whatever it is. It's a battery, so it doesn't look the greatest. So they probably didn't want to open the case back for that reason. But it doesn't really matter because you put this watch over your wrist, and the front side is what matters. Okay. Now, since we're talking about the case, let's start with the case itself, and you'll see it has 36 diamonds and 0.42 carats of D-color, internally flawless natural stones placed to perfection on the left and the right of the watch. And as you can see, it really adds some beautiful flavor to it. And that, in that sense, I gotta say it's quite steps above the Cartier Tank in the way that they set the diamonds, and of course the way that they do the dial. So, and I like that they didn't go crazy and just put diamonds everywhere and diamond out the whole thing. They left it tasteful. Just one row of diamonds on either side. It makes it look symmetrical. It makes it look balanced. The diamonds aren't too big, and it looks like a lady's watch. So I like that. Okay, now let's look at the dial. Now these diamond dials are actually discontinued. They don't make these diamond dials anymore. So the only place you can get it is jazztime.com, or click on the link in the description below. Now they've replaced those diamond dials with index markers and Roman numerals, Arabic numbers. Why exactly they did that, I'm not so sure, but they did. So it's the exact same watch, exact same movement, bracelet, case, everything, but the dial has changed. So I'm not sure why they do that, but anyways, they have. So there are some diamond dials out there, but if you want the latest dial, then we also have that as well. Okay, but this is the diamond dial, and I actually have to say I kind of prefer it with a diamond dial because it looks more, it blends in with the diamonds on the side of the case better, in my opinion. Okay. All right, so that is the dial, since we've already talked about it. And I guess I should say now, at least as of 23, they make the dial in this sort of brown, a blue, and a green. And I think they made it, I can't remember exactly which all the dials they made, but at least this one is in blue dial, which is also a beautiful dial. It matches a lot of things. And it's very dark, so it's not like a blue that you have to worry about matching the rest of your clothes, because the watch itself is quite dark. Okay? It's almost like a black, so all right, anyways, so that is the dial. Let's move on to the bracelet here. The bracelet is beautifully done. It's a steel bracelet with a fold over clasp. Now it uses pressure to hold over. Let you look at the clasp here, or the bracelet. The bracelet is high polished, so it looks quite fancy. It really sticks out. It's very fluid, and it uses this a pressure system that allows it to open and close, and I think the bracelet's just done perfectly. And I love how they integrated the bracelet into the head so that it really looks like one cohesive unit, as opposed to just just slapping on any bracelet to it. I think they really did a great job on this bracelet. Okay, all right, now let's move on from the bracelet. And what should we talk about next? The movement. Well, the movement, as I told you, is a quartz movement. I told you the reason why already. If I went into some more details, I'm not so sure it really matters. But there are 57 parts. So it's still not that small. If you compare that to an automatic movement, which has around 200 to 300 parts, it's a quarter of that. But the benefit to having a quartz watch, let me tell you, is that one, you don't have to service it, which on automatic you have to service it every, 5-10 years. And then on the quartz watch, you just simply change the battery. But on the downside, you do have to change the battery about every 3 years. But it's not a really big deal. You can take it to, your local watch store or your watch repair, and they can change it. It's not much. I would say less than $50. So that'll keep it going. So it's quite nice. Okay, that's one of the benefit of quartz. And you don't have to set it, by the way. So if you take your watch, you put it down, you don't pick it up for month, 2 months, it's still going to keep running. As opposed to an automatic watch, you have to set it every time you put it on if you haven't worn it for more than 48 hours. So it's a little bit of a pain. So this, and okay, anyways, so let's go ahead and try this on. I'm obviously a man, and this is a woman's watch, but at least you can get an idea what it looks like on a wrist. I have a 7.5-inch wrist. Probably your wrist is going to be smaller than mine, because I am 200 pounds. So your wrist is probably going to be smaller. But anyways, here it is on my wrist, and my thoughts are, well, I think this is a beautiful entry-level Patek Philippe. Now, if you want the beauty of Patek Philippe with almost all the craftsmanship except for the movement of the Patek Philippe, the bracelet, the dial, the diamonds, everything, except for all the intricate stuff inside the movement, then this would be a good watch. At a going rate of retail price around 15,000, we're selling it right around retail at Jazz Time 2, around 15,000 or so. For that price, it's really unbeatable. I mean, you're getting a Patek Philippe, one of the top brands in the world. I say Audemars and Patek are probably the two best watchmakers in the world, and Rolex, of course. And for that price, you can get a watch that is an entry level. It looks fantastic. In every way, it's a Patek, except, of course, the movement. And you don't have to worry so much about, for example, losing it or getting robbed off with it. It's expensive. It's a luxury watch. It's still very beautiful, but it's not crazy expensive. It's not no 15 or 50,000, $100,000 watch. So yes, it is a very nice watch, but it's not super expensive. And so for what it is, I think it's a pretty nice place to start if you want to start having a Patek Philippe in your collection. So do that. If you want to do that, you got to go to jazztime.com, jaztime.com, which is why we make these videos.
If you want to find out more about the watch you just saw in the video, you can just click below on Show More to see the full description. Then you can check the link next to Model as seen in video, click on it, and you will get to the proper page where you can see all the details. If you're watching on a mobile phone, you have to click on the arrow down on the right hand side below the video to see the full description. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you would like to share this video with your friends, you can use the share button below and share it on any platform you like. If you have questions, constructive feedback, want to tell us about some mistakes or misspeaks, just write a comment below. If you want to see more videos like this, you should subscribe to our channel and visit our channel page where you can find all the videos. And if you're interested in a specific watch brand, you can check out our playlists. If you want to check the price for a watch or want to buy one, remember at jazztime.com you always get a steep discount, so you should check the prices with us. If you want to know the price for a specific watch, just go to Google, type in JazzTime, plus the brand, model and the details you're interested in, and Google will find the right page for you. Thank you for watching.